assault, women not wearing the
The following is a presentation of Team Glory Sports.
It's 9:05 at 97.5 Glory FM, and welcome once again to the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Hi, everyone. Welcome once again to the Saturday Morning Sports Show. I'm Mike Wofford. Welcome to the NGPG Sports Center here at our studios in Gainesville as we bring you the latest in local sports news, high school, college, and pro sports here on this first Saturday of the month of May. And we're into the postseason of both high school and college sports around the area. In high school baseball, we're in to the quarterfinal round of the state playoffs, and this week we'll have North Hall and Cherokee Bluff, the two remaining teams locally in the state playoffs. They'll play each other with the winner to go to the state semifinals. During the show this morning, we'll be hearing from Coach Trevor Flo of North Hall and from Coach Jeremy Kemp of Cherokee Bluff here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. Let's kick things off this morning talking about baseball news this morning. First off, as you heard a couple of days ago here on 97.5 Glory FM, it was North Hall winning their series in a big game against Heritage of Catoosa, winning the first game of the three-game series. First game was a doubleheader by a score of 10-0, and the Trojans had a big day at the plate. And also Branson Crawford, again, an outstanding job on the mound, pitching a shutout. And also great jobs by Campbell Payton and also the other pitchers for the Trojans back on Thursday as they defeat the Generals of Heritage of Catoosa 10-0 in game number one. Then in game number two, they end up winning by a final score of 6-4. As the Generals, they were not going to go down easily. They came back, tied the ball game, but then North Hall had runs in the last two innings of play to win the ball game by a final score of 6-4. Also, Cherokee Bluff went on the road up in northwest Georgia back on Thursday, and they took on the number one team in that region in northwest Whitfield, and they come out with a doubleheader sweep, winning the first ball game 6-4, winning the last game 6-5 in walk-off fashion. And so that means it's going to be Cherokee Bluff taking on North Hall in the quarterfinal round, the Elite Eight of the high school baseball state playoffs this Wednesday. A doubleheader being played at North Hall, and you'll hear all of the action, every pitch of every inning of every game of the postseason right here on your home team for North Georgia Sports, 97.5 Glory FM. Also, one of the bracket will have a local team involved. Jefferson, they'll be involved in the state quarterfinals, I should say, as they will take on the Troup County Tigers out of LaGrange. Now, Troup eliminated Dawson County a couple of days ago after Dawson County won their third deciding game against Southeast Bullock down in South Georgia last week. Then they went down to LaGrange and lost to Troup in a doubleheader in a close couple of ball games. Jefferson, they were involved with another Region 8 AAA team as they took on the Oconee County Warriors, winning both of those games. And so Jefferson take on Troup in the quarterfinal round. And the top two teams, the state still alive, number one Harlem, number two Peach County. And they are also involved in the other bracket when it comes to the high school baseball state playoffs. In fact, it would be Peach County taking on the winner. If they were to win their ball game, at least the winner of their series, they'll take on the winner of the Cherokee Bluff North Hall series in a couple of weeks of the semifinals. And also be number 1 ranked Harlan. If they win their series, they would go up against the winner of the Troop Jefferson series in the state semifinals. Well, the state finals taking place starting on Monday, the 19th of May. As here we are in the month of May, 2 weeks away from Monday will be the start of the high school baseball state championships. Also, state soccer action coming up on Monday. It'll be the Jefferson girls and the Dawson County girls involved in the state playoffs when it comes to high school soccer on the local scene. College baseball this weekend. Here on 97.5 Glory FM, we'll bring you college baseball this afternoon. Game time has been changed because of impending bad weather. They're going to play down in Atlanta at 12 o'clock noon today. As soon as we get through with the Gospel Greats with Ronnie Baucom, we'll go right to Dave Cohen in Atlanta as Georgia State takes on the University of Louisiana. The Raging Cajuns taking on the Georgia State Panthers this afternoon starting at 12 p.m. only here on your home for North Georgia sports and Georgia State baseball, 97.5 Glory FM. Pardon me, all of a sudden my voice is starting to go here on this Saturday morning. We'll see what we can do this morning. I'll be talking to my guests here in just a few moments. Wrapping things up with college baseball action locally. The University of North Georgia won the Peach Belt Conference regular season championship, and they were home yesterday at Bob Stein Stadium at Cottrell Park and were upset. 13th ranked North Georgia. They fall to Augusta. The Jaguars have basically the reverse record of North Georgia. They come up with the pitching performance of their lives as they win by a score of 4-0, meaning that North Georgia now is in the loser's bracket of the tournament this weekend there at Bob Stein Stadium. Also, weather has pushed back the start of the Peach Belt Conference softball tournament. The University of North Georgia golf teams, both the men and the women, are involved in the NCAA Division II National Championships. They'll be involved in that coming up this upcoming week. So we're into the postseason now as graduation takes place at UNG and getting ready for the high schools to graduate here in about 3+ weeks. So a lot going on as you wrap up the season of high school and college sports here on 97.5 Glory FM. Up next, we'll have our first guest here joining us this morning. We'll be talking with Trevor Flo, the head baseball coach at North Hall. He's up after this timeout on 97.5 Glory FM, WGTJ.
Why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Houston, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
It's springtime, but it's also allergy time. The pollen is so bad you can't stand it. Your eyes are scratchy, your nose is stuffy, and you can hardly breathe. Well, the pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy can help with all of your allergy needs. They can fill your prescription with expert care and even deliver it to you in the Gainesville area. That's Riverside Pharmacy, across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
Charlie King back with us from King Green, and I don't know about you, Charlie, but I've got much better things to do than pull weeds out of my lawn.
I heard that. If you don't have weeds, you don't have a lawn. Our job is to keep those weeds at bay year-round. Our program works by preventing weeds and by killing those that are already up. Give us a holler. We'd love to come out and take a look at your lawn.
Keep it looking good with King Green. Easy to do. Find out more online at kinggreen.com or just give them a call like Charlie said at 770-536-7611.
And back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show, 97.5 Glory FM, live video stream on YouTube at Team Glory Sports. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and join us on Saturday mornings during the school year when it comes to the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Our first guest this morning is North Hall baseball coach Trevor Flo. The Trojans heading into the state quarterfinals at home this Wednesday here on 97.5 Glory FM. Hey, good morning, Trevor.
Good morning.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you, Mike?
I'm looking forward to a big week here, buddy. Good this morning. Thanks for joining me this morning. So let's talk about, first off, the season so far and then go again to the quarterfinals this week. Big series this past week. I don't think anybody really realizes how tough this Heritage of Catoosa team was.
Yeah, I knew coming in it wasn't going to be really easy. The first game, we just came out and hit the ball really well, gave us a chance. But I knew they'd come back. They saved their typical number one for game 2, so we knew that was going to be the tougher game, and it turned out to be. We didn't help ourselves very much on the defensive side, but to their credit, they battled, and they're a good baseball team, and thankfully we came out on top.
We look at the philosophy of pitching, Coach, is that a lot of times, I think sometimes a team on the road will want to pitch their number one pitcher when they know they're going to get the last at-bat.
Yeah, I've seen it 2 or 3 times the last week that teams have done that. Pickens County did it, but they were at home, and so, I mean, it's not a bad philosophy, especially if you think that the other team's number one is somebody you're going to struggle with, and you want to pull out and go to a game 3. So it's not a bad philosophy.
Well, no, you're blessed enough to have a deep enough pitching staff is that you could go ahead and take care of game 1, game 2, and then have somebody ready to go for game 3 if necessary.
Yeah, that's a luxury. We didn't get to throw Jake Beard. So yesterday we actually inter-squatted and had him throw his full allotment of pitches just like a regular game. So, having a guy of that caliber to go game 3 is absolutely a blessing, like you said.
Well, talk about the hitting. Everybody contributed. I think everybody on the lineup from 1 through 9 reached base in the doubleheader.
Yeah, we hit the ball really well. We've talked a lot about keeping the ball out of the air. I still feel like we hit too many fly balls, but for the most part, we used the whole field. Smith had some huge backside hits and pull side gap, and then, of course, Branson leading off for us. It only makes the lineup deeper. So, all those guys all the way down through the freshmen, Thomas Davis, and a lot of good things. And we talked about in the playoffs, walks or wins, and I think we did a good job of taking some free 90s that allowed us to push the lineup down.
Talking to Coach Trevor Flo, the head baseball coach at North Hall, as they go into the quarterfinals coming up on Wednesday against Cherokee Bluff in the state playoffs, the winner to go to the state semifinals in a couple of weeks. Tell you what, the one thing I have noticed about having Branson Crawford now in the lineup is the leadoff hitter. I don't remember North Hall having a guy in the leadoff position that has that kind of power.
Yeah, I guess the closest thing I can think of the 13 years I've been here would be Tate Brooks and then Andrew Smith.
Yep.
When he had leadoff. Those two guys had the ability to hit the ball to all parts of the field and had power and speed. And, Branson has the ability at any point in time to hit the ball out of the park from pole to pole. So, and one thing about him is when he's pitching, you don't get to watch him run. But he's a 6'6", 60 guy with a ton of speed, and he's just a well put together baseball player.
Oh, no doubt about that. And also, he showed an arm out there in center field in the doubleheader. I don't think anybody really wants to challenge that arm.
Yeah, that is also a luxury. And, we didn't throw him the entire first game, saved him some pitches, so I was trying to save his arm a little bit. And then, he is really good in the outfield. He's really good behind the plate, and that was probably one of the most overlooked plays of the entire playoffs for us. That was a huge moment. Cutting down that tying run and keeping it where it was huge for us.
Well, it sure changed the momentum, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. That got us out of an inning, kept a run off the board. If they don't send the guy, you're looking at first and third, and you never know what could happen. So that was a huge play.
So there's always a luxury when you have two pitchers in the outfield. You got Smith McGarvey out there in right field, same thing. People better be careful if they're going to challenge you. Yeah,
Smith has actually made some huge back pick plays this year. I mean, I can think 2 or 3 times where the runner at second took too big of a lead, and he threw a shot back in behind him for us to get the out and clear that runner. So he's been huge with his arm and his defensive play, and having arms like that, and Ty Kemp out there in the outfield is and Campbell has thrown some people out of the plate, so that's a luxury as well.
Yeah, again, having Campbell Payton out there in center field also, and when Branson's pitching, to have him out there, another pitcher. So you're blessed to have some arms out there in the outfield. And also, they can go get some balls. Rarely are you going to see a ball hitting the gap against your team because of even the speed they have out there.
Yeah, I can put Cole Cable out there, and
Yeah.
we don't lose anything defensively. He can go get it as well as anybody in the state. So defensively, they've been really good for us.
So when it comes to hitting, you can just almost feel the energy. When someone gets on base, then all of a sudden it's almost like a train behind them. You can sort of feel the next one wants to get up and get them around.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any way to say how big getting a leadoff runner on is, especially with our team. When we can pass it down, and we've got guys that can hit the ball to the gap, and we can do some small ball stuff. So when you get that leadoff runner on, it is energy. You can feel the energy and the excitement and on what could happen.
We were talking on the broadcast also, the one player that people don't look at a lot of times, you got a youngster up there in Custis Honeycutt. You got a sophomore up there, but he's a big kid. And as I was telling Joe, you go back to our days, what you call him, the guy coming, that's a big stick. And as soon as you get him up there, you look like he's going for a long one.
Yeah, the thing about Custis is he competes to contact, and he does it really well. He doesn't strike out a lot. He's okay hitting in deep counts. And, he's not scared to have two strikes on him and hit with two strikes. He's got some huge two-strike hits this year, and he notices pitches and out of the hand, and he just has a knack for getting the barrel there, and he's done a great job for us stepping up in that 4-hole this year.
And the thing about it seems like anybody in the lineup can hit the ball hard, and sometimes they'll go over the fence. Sometimes they'll be, just out there for a double maybe.
Yeah, I think right now we're second all-time in school history home runs, which we usually don't do a lot of, but I think what you said is correct. The guys just hit the ball hard, and we're not necessarily a home run team, but when we square it up and we get into the gaps, some good things happen.
Well, coming up this Wednesday, I'll be talking with Jeremy Kemp here in a few minutes after I get to talk with you. It's something to have two teams in the same county playing each other this deep in the state playoffs. First off, do we know what time we're playing Wednesday?
5 p.m. both days.
Okay, both days. So we'll have all the action for you right here on 97.5 Glory FM. And if anybody knows that team, I know you know his team, and know Jeremy knows North Hall.
Yeah, we're definitely not strangers. And like you said, to have two teams from Hall County in the Elite Eight just tells you a little bit about the strength of baseball in our county, and that we got some really good players, some really good teams that can compete at the highest level. And I got a lot of respect for Jeremy and his program. They do things well, and our kids know each other, and we're familiar, and looking forward to, anytime we step on the field together, it's usually a pretty good battle. So we're looking forward to that.
I'll tell Jeremy the same thing I'll tell you right here, Coach, is that when we look at the teams in Hall County and you look at the success of programs, it's like, okay, you want to emulate and try to do what the successful teams are doing. Look at what your program's done since you've been at North Hall, the 13 years you mentioned, and the 8 years now as head coach. Same thing for Jeremy. Since day one there at Cherokee Bluff, they've been successful. It's like other teams need to find out, watch what y'all are doing for them to grow their programs.
Yeah, I think we do a lot of things the same. I think, the importance of certain aspects of the program is big, and then you can never undervalue the kids that are there. I think we've had some really good players, which always helps. So, when you got good support and good community support and good coaches and good players, you put all that together and you got an opportunity to succeed.
Talk about a playoff atmosphere, too. It's going to be something special Wednesday.
Yeah, it could be a little crazy, Mike. It could be.
I just say save me a spot then, okay?
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to mark it off. But, I expect the place to be buzzing and it be packed out, even more so than a typical Elite Eight game. And the community, I hope the community sees good baseball.
Well, you look at the point, you take a step back as a fan even. Jeremy's team goes to the state championship last year in Rome, and then they end up falling in the state championship. You won a state title at North Hall. You've been an assistant with North Hall with the winning state championship. And you say now you're one step closer. Winning this ball game goes to the Final Four. Then you can take your chances if you have to take on a Peach County or Harlem, and we'll hopefully for us see an upset take place with one of those two teams.
Yeah, and at this point, Elite Eight, you've accomplished a lot during the season. You just want to see your team go out and play. And we talk all the time about, nameless, faceless opponents on the other side. I know this week might be a little more difficult, but you hope you can ride the equilibrium of emotion and not be up and down and get up involved with all that. And I think after first pitch, you kind of settle in and say, okay, let's play baseball. And the environment is buzzing. But then, if you get an opportunity to move on, there's still some good teams. But I think this matchup prepares you moving forward. I think it's a big opportunity for both sides.
Well, let's think about it. I hope that the players on both teams realize the opportunity they have here. You're talking about being on the big stage and playing each other, knowing that one of the two teams going into the Final Four. That's really got to be something special.
Yeah, we've played some big games as far as region championships are concerned and in the region, but there's been none bigger than being on this stage playing against each other. So I think it's a great opportunity to really showcase the talent in Hall County, but also, two teams that historically are very tough against each other in region play. To play at another level is something big.
Well, you now talk coming up on Wednesday. We'll have our interview for the pregame show. Both you and Jeremy getting ready for the doubleheader on Wednesday. I'm assuming that the biggest thing is going to be pitching and defense. That's what wins championships, we always say.
Yeah, it's going to be huge for us because they can swing it. They can swing it with the best of them all the way through the lineup. So, being able to control that to a certain extent, we know that they're going to get theirs, but being able to control it and keep the big number off the board and things like that, and then playing defense and being able to steal some outs will be huge for us. We have to control that crooked number, and then we got to find a way to get to their starting pitching and the things we talk about all the time. We got to throw strikes, play great defense, execute, and then play good in the field all the way around, and we have a chance at the end.
So how do you deal with emotions and really taking care of these young guys? Because we know that for high school kids, it can go at any moment. Yeah,
it's not. The thing about you got to play against the game, and when we talked about this at practice yesterday, the game doesn't change. You got a pitcher out there with a baseball, and you got to hit it, and you got to play defense, and you got to throw the ball over the plate. It doesn't matter what jersey's on. You still have to do those things, and you can't get caught up in who you're playing or make it bigger than it is. And like you said, you're dealing with teenagers, so that emotion, you got to keep them in check. So I think that's a huge coaching point for our coaching staff this week.
Hey, you don't hear, Trevor, I hear Bull Durham going, okay, baseball's an easy game, You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball, okay? That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real easy. I mean, until you start looking at kids with 13 home runs and et cetera. So, you want to make it as easy as you can, but I definitely expect there to be some emotions in such a big matchup.
And it was a good one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Coming up on Wednesday, North Hall and Cherokee Bluff. First pitch will be at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. If necessary, back on Thursday at 5, and you'll hear every pitch of every inning of every game of this best-of-3 playoff series right here on 97.5 Glory FM. We'll start Wednesday just after 4:30 p.m. Trevor, thanks much, friend. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
Yes, sir, Mike. Thank you.
Thanks much. We got much more for you coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM. We'll talk with Jeremy Kemp, the head baseball coach of the Cherokee Bluff Bears. He's up next here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
This is Representative Lee Hawkins, your representative to the state legislature. I want to wish all the local athletes in our area the very best this season. Your team is very important to the success of our community, and I look forward to seeing you play this year and to see what you accomplish in the classrooms and in the community. I also look forward to serving you and your family in the state legislature. This message paid for by the committee to re-elect Lee Hawkins.
Hello?
Good morning, Mary. I wanted to remind you about our great breakfast here at Longstreet Cafe.
Hope, it's 3 a.m.
I know. We'll be open in 3 hours serving sausage, bacon, our famous homemade biscuits and gravy, grits, and more.
I appreciate
the fact that Longstreet's pancakes are the fluffiest and biggest you've ever had. Yeah, me too. Gotta go. Bye, Mary.
Oh, I'll never be able to go back to sleep thinking about, biscuits.
Longstreet Cafe with 2 Gainesville locations.
And back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. I'm Mike Wofford with you until 10 o'clock this morning. And we talk local sports every Saturday morning, high school, college, and pro sports. You just heard from Trevor Flo, the head baseball coach at North Hall. Now it's time to talk with Coach Jeremy Kemp, head baseball coach at Cherokee Bluff. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Well, working hard, sir. About you? Resting up this morning?
Just same, about heading to a wedding.
Oh, heading to a wedding. You got time to talk then?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm glad you're with us here this morning. So let's talk about the series up at Northwest Whitfield. Was the biggest thing the weather?
Yeah, man, that was tough. I think we had maybe an hour and a half, maybe a little bit longer, rain delay, and, keeping kids calm for an hour and a half, 2 hour break is pretty tough. So, but the guys came back, they stayed focused and played well. So.
When we got a rain delay like that, the weather delay with the lightning that took place up in the storms in northwest Georgia back on Thursday, how do you manage your pitching that way? Because you guys see, how many pitches they've thrown, how their arms are going to rest up, and can throw after a delay like that, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We were lucky. Gabe threw a complete game in the first game, and so we really were just hanging out. With a pitcher ready to go whenever it was time to get them going.
So I know Gabe had that one bad inning, gave it the 2 home runs. Boy, the team came back and was able to get that first win, which gets you ready for game 2.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
You're this cell phone of yours. See what I can do here. Let's do something else. Let me change gears here, okay? Hang on. We'll do a little technical stuff on the air live here. All right, it's going to be a little different here. All right, Jeremy, how about that, buddy? Can you hear me better?
I can.
Let's do this. I'm going to put my phone right to my ear here, so everybody looks at me here. They're going to be seeing me right the phone right to my ear here. So now you should be able to hear me a lot better here. So I was thinking about tell me about the game 1. Gabe had that one bad inning. He had the 2 home runs that he gave up, but then the team really able to do the job, get that win in that first game.
Yeah, well, he settled down and threw great. I mean, that was the last 4 innings were the best innings he threw. I mean, I don't think he gave up another hit after that. So, he just does that, man. And we knew, I mean, even after the bad inning, we were like, he's liable to throw the rest of the game now, settle in, and he did. He's just a tough kid, and he battles, and, he's everything you want. So, super proud of Gabe and what he did.
All right, so tell me about the advantage. Going on the road, you got a 1-game lead in game 2. So tell me about how you approached the game 2.
Well, we just tried to put as much pressure as we could on them. I think we, the first inning, we, did kind of a hit and run slash type deal, and that worked. And jumped out to a 2-0 lead, and they battled, and that coach up there has done a great job. They had some great pitching. I mean, super impressed. like I told you on the air last year, I've never gone into a series not knowing what somebody had, like I did on Thursday. I mean, we had no idea. We didn't even have a common opponent. Their region made an agreement not to share, so we had no idea what we were about to see. I mean, we had an idea of what the pitchers were, right-handed, left-handed, but that's about it. That's about all we had.
So how big advantage was it having the last at-bat in Game 2?
Oh, gosh, it was everything, man. Ethan England led off with a double. Then they put Bryce on, and then KT, they thought we were bunting, and KT singled. It was a hard line drive, and our guy at second just good base running. He just wasn't sure if it was going to fall or not because KT hit it so hard. And then Bo finished it up with a single up the middle. So it was just exciting game, fun to be a part of. And, when you have a long day like that starts at, 7:30 in the morning and it ends at, you finish the game at 11:45, that's a long day.
Yes,
we
it
didn't
is.
Get back home until about 2 a.m. So
wow,
it was crazy. So
we're talking with Coach Jeremy Kemp, the head baseball coach at Cherokee Bluff, as they get ready for the quarterfinal game against North Hall coming up this Wednesday. Again, doubleheader at 5 on Wednesday, third game, if necessary, taking place on Thursday at 5 o'clock. We'll have our pregame show starting at 4:30 each day, especially on Wednesday. We'll be talking with you, get a pregame interview for you getting ready for Wednesday's game, Jeremy. So as we was talking to Coach Flo, same thing with you, it seems like anybody 1 through 9 can contribute at any time in your lineup.
Well, yeah, we've really came on and done a lot better on the mound, and I feel like North Hall's done that. I've kind of kept up with them. When I saw the bracket, I kind of said, wow, it's definitely going to go through North Hall. Knew they would be here, and so been kind of keeping up with them, and it seems like they're kind of hitting their stride also. So, it's going to be a fun atmosphere up there at North Hall. So
oh, no doubt about that.
Part of it.
There was one player that I was really impressed with in that doubleheader at Northwest Whitfield was Cody Bridgers.
Well, he's been huge for us all year long, and he's kind of, not been the guy in the spotlight because you got the Bryce Faulkners, the Bubbas, the Landon Kemps, the Ethan Englands, and KT Thompson. They're, and Cody's been consistent for us all year long and done great things. And you should have seen how excited everybody in our dugout was when he hit that home run. I mean, it was excited for him, not only for our team and win, but, everybody loves Cody, and he just does a great job for us.
We're talking with Coach Jeremy Kemp, again, the head baseball coach at Cherokee Bluff here on 97.5 Glory FM. Looking ahead to Wednesday, and I was talking to Coach Flo, the biggest thing, I guess two things, going to be emotions, going to be a huge crowd looking forward to that. It's going to be a great atmosphere for high school baseball. Then it comes down against the basic end, and just for you to have good pitching and good defense.
It does, man. Just what a great opportunity for both sides, both teams, to be a part of something so awesome. I mean, it's going to be so much fun up there, and and these kids are all friends. At the end of the day, they're going to be friends before and after the game, and so it's just a great when a community comes together like this and gets to watch a great baseball series like this. That's rare.
Well, I tell you, it reminds me.
At least.
Yeah, it reminds me almost of the last time two teams played. I think this kind of stage was probably back. You probably remember when Gainesville and Flying Branch played in football in the state semifinals a few years ago. But it's like, okay, when you have the success of two teams like this, as I was telling Coach Flo, is that if other programs would be emulating you and trying to copy what you and Coach Flo, Flying Branch, for example, all what y'all do as successful as you were.
Well, they do it right up there, and I have a ton of respect for Coach Flo and his staff. They do a good job and work the guys hard, and we try to do the same. Some days you feel like it's a struggle, but we definitely put the work in. So it's fun thing to coach, and this is what you coach for. So to be in these situations. So.
Well, here we are at the end of the school year. It's almost like final exam time because these guys have earned this opportunity, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's right, and it's been fun to be a part of.
your team is not one guy you really can say this is going to be the guy that's going to beat me, for example. Anybody in that lineup, you're so well loaded with talent.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what's been great is just, different guys stepped up, throughout the year, and especially in the playoffs so far. I mean, I don't know. I would have a hard time telling you who's been our best player in the playoffs because we've had so many good ones and so many key guys. I can't say enough about, Bubba Coleman came in with the bases loaded to get us out of the top of the seventh jam. We had bases loaded, 2 outs, and they had tied it up 5-5, and he came in, and he hadn't pitched in 3 weeks, and he struck a guy out, and then we won the game in the bottom of the seventh. Bubba's he's played great for us. Ethan England's played great for us. Bryce Faulkner, he's done a great job. KT and Landon, I mean, it's just, I could name a bunch of them. Cody
sure.
had a great game. I mean, and then pitching-wise, Gabe and Landon Kemp have given us, quality starts, those series. So,
Tell me, too, before we let you go here, about this is, I think, very special for your seniors, isn't it?
It is. It's always special. I mean, this group is, as a dad, as a coach, it's always special. But as a dad, these are all my son's best of friends that he's grown up and gone to high school, middle school with, and you build those relationships. So it's fun to watch them go out there and play.
Well, again, every year you've had a program. You've been in the state playoffs, and I know how it was last year playing in the finals there in Rome, and I know you'd love to get back there again.
That'd be great. That'd be great. We're gonna try to win game one and then go from there.
All right, buddy. Listen, thank you for your time. Have a good time at the wedding day. We'll talk next week, okay?
All right, thank you, Mike.
Appreciate you, man. All right, that is Coach Jeremy Kemp, the head baseball coach at Cherokee Bluff, and we'll have the game between the Bears and the North Hall Trojans coming up on Wednesday. They'll play a doubleheader from Cottrell Field starting at 5 p.m. The first pitch of a twilight doubleheader. They'll play game 3 if necessary, and you may see that because what a battle is going to be between the Bears and Trojans, and we may have a game 3. It'll be on Thursday at 5. We'll go on the air at 4:30 right here on your home team for North Georgia Sports and High School Baseball 97.5 Glory FM. Coming up next, we'll talk about college sports. Actually, I'm going to try to wake up Dave Cohen this morning, talk about college baseball. We got a game at 12 o'clock noon today as Georgia State goes up against the University of Louisiana. That comes up next here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show.
If you need on-time expert plumbing service, Conditioned Air Systems is here for you. Our plumbers deliver the highest quality service in North Georgia 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. We've been North Georgia's source for elite residential and commercial services since 1983. Our licensed plumbers offer services for installation and repairs of pipes, water heaters, septic lines, and sump pumps. Choose Conditioned Air Systems for quality service and unmatched knowledge for your plumbing needs.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Houston, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/black-and-blue.
It's springtime, but it's also allergy time. The pollen is so bad you can't stand it. Your eyes are scratchy, your nose is stuffy, and you can hardly breathe. Well, the pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy can help with all of your allergy needs. They can fill your prescription with expert care and even deliver it to you in the Gainesville area. That's Riverside Pharmacy, across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
And once again, thanks to Jeremy Kemp and Trevor Flo joining me this morning on the Saturday Morning Sports Show as we preview the game between North Hall and Cherokee Bluff as we are your home team for North Georgia Sports 97.5 Glory FM. Today we bring you college baseball action with Georgia State going up against the University of Louisiana. The Raging Cajuns coming to Panthersville to take on the Georgia State Panthers today. And join me on the phone here, and he's going to be driving and talking, so hope he can do it safely here. Dave Cohen here. Hey, David.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good, sir. The big thing, just stay safe today, okay?
Oh, yeah, we're good.
All right, so
headed to the ballpark at Panthersville for Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series. Big one.
I know you weren't there last night. Sam Crenshaw filled in for you on ESPN Plus, but how was it last night? Do you know?
Well, yeah, I was following along. They ended up losing the ball game 10-5, so they've lost. I think it's now 9 of their last 10, which is it's never good to lose, and it's especially not timely to lose as you're trying and battling for one of the remaining spots to the Sun Belt Conference baseball tournament. But Georgia State jumped out to an early 2-0 lead. But then Louisiana put a 6th spot up on the board in the 3rd. They hit back-to-back-to-back home runs, and they never trailed from that point on. Georgia State was able to close it at one point, trailing 7-5. But Louisiana was able to tack on 3 more runs, after the 3rd inning, and so they hold on for the 10-5 win, and it'll be Jake Embry getting the start for Georgia State this afternoon, and we'll see. The Panthers just need wins, Mike. They need Sun Belt wins, and right now, if the season ended today, they would be on the outside looking in regarding the Sun Belt Conference tournament, because when I checked the standings last night when I got back to the house, they were 11th in the Sun Belt. And again, only the top 10 make the Sun Belt tournament in Montgomery later this month.
It's amazing, David, is that changed so quickly in my mind, is that the hitting's been there all season long. It's been the pitching has been the problem during this losing streak.
Yeah, you see that a lot in college baseball, depending upon the strength of the rotation and the staff, and it's always a challenge for head coach Brad Stromdahl in Georgia State. He was able to start Caleb White last night. He lasted only the 3 innings, and back at the beginning of Sun Belt Conference play, he was your Friday night starter. His role had changed up a little bit here over the last month and a half. But he was the Friday night starter last night in Game 1 and did not survive past the 3rd inning. So, for Georgia State, again, Jake Embry will go today. Ross Norman on the hill for Georgia State tomorrow. Still got an opportunity to win the series, but as they say, the old cliche goes, you just take it game by game. You can't look ahead to Sunday until you play Saturday. And, offensively, Georgia State has been pretty good this year. It's just the pitching that has been a challenge. I referenced back to the Coastal Carolina series a few weeks ago here in Atlanta. And Coastal Carolina is a top 25 program to the point they may be hosting an NCAA regional up there in Conway this year.
Wow.
But they came into that weekend series with the best team ERA in the Sun Belt. And I think, if I remember correctly at the time, that team ERA was ranked 5th in the country in Division I baseball. Now, Louisiana is not quite to that level. I mean, their win last night moved them to within a game under 500 overall. They're 23-24 overall, but they're 13-9 in Sun Belt Conference play, and they came into the series holding down 4th place. The reason I bring that up is they are 2nd in the Sun Belt Conference. In conference games only, behind Coastal Carolina, the Ragin' Cajuns have the best team ERA, again, in conference games only, behind Coastal. So this is what Georgia State is facing this weekend, another pretty good weekend rotation, this time brought to Atlanta by the Ragin' Cajuns.
Again, the Panthers are scoring runs. They just got to keep the other team from scoring more than they are,
That's the problem. They've been okay defensively this year. It just kind of depends game in and game out. They're not stellar defensively, but they're not horrible defensively. They're kind of in that mid-range somewhere. Again, they can score runs. They've got bats, that can produce. But if you can't keep the other team from scoring double-digit runs, and I'd have to total up how many games this year Georgia State has allowed double-digit runs, then you're putting a lot of pressure on your offense to produce game in and game out. And again, they're decent offensively, but they're not to the level where they can just casually go out and, if necessary, score double-digit runs in order to secure wins.
Talking to the voice of the Panthers, Dave Cohen, this morning on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. We had the game between the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana and Georgia State today at 12 o'clock noon here on 97.5 Glory Evan. The biggest question, how's the weather down that way?
Right now, cloudy and overcast. Had a lot of rain that came through Johns Creek yesterday, and I was down south of Atlanta last night, and had a big lightning and thunderstorm, and so Brad Stromdahl texted me yesterday and said that today's game, which was originally scheduled for 2 p.m., was moved up to 12 noon today because they're expecting some more rainy weather to come through the Atlanta area today, so they want to make sure they get this game in as well as tomorrow's game. So they moved it up from 2 to 12 noon, so that's why we're headed to the ballpark at Panthersville as we speak.
Run everybody, is it natural turf or artificial there at Panthersville?
It is grass.
And so that's the biggest question right there is with how the infield going to play, how's the soggy is the outfield going to be. Hey, last night we even had a tornado here in Gainesville last night, so let's hope we can dodge the raindrops today.
Yes, that would be nice because Georgia State, again, needs the opportunity to secure some wins this weekend in order to jump back into the top 10 of the Sun Belt. Again, if they don't, then, the last regular season game will be the last regular season game for Coach Stromdahl and the Panthers this year. So they need the opportunities. They can't afford to have any games not be played in conference play. So again, they lost on Friday night, but they still have an opportunity today and tomorrow in order to make something good happen and move this thing in the right direction.
All right, tip of the day is hands-free driving with Dave Coney. He's on his way down to Panthersville from his home in North Fulton County here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. I didn't talk to you last week real quick before you go, if you can. Just tell me about, there was some success for Georgia State football players heading to the NFL.
Yeah, Ben Chukwuma, who was the starting left tackle, has signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and from what I understand, the guaranteed portion of the contract that he signed is, for him pretty significant, which is nice. I did see Kevin Swint at the Golden Panther banquet the other night at the Convocation Center. He's going to get an opportunity with the Tennessee Titans, and we talked about that for a little bit, and I congratulated him. I think Kevin was a great addition to Georgia State when he transferred in from Clemson. Good kid, good interview. You've heard him on the pregame and the postgames over the last couple of 3 years, so I'm happy for him to get that opportunity. And then another kid who was, fun to interview, good kid was Gavin Pringle, one of the cornerbacks. He's going to get an opportunity with the Denver Broncos in their rookie free agent camp. So that's encouraging as well. And hopefully he'll get a chance to meet former Georgia State place kicker Will Lutz, who's out there with the Denver Broncos. But I'm happy for all three of those guys. I didn't get to know Ben as good as I did, or as well as I did both Kevin Swint and Gavin Pringle, who on different years accompanied us to Sun Belt Conference Media Day in New Orleans. But, again, Mike, we're talking about a program, and you've been with me from pretty much from day one on the radio network that's just completed its 15th season. And you look around at, the wins and losses at times haven't been what you would like them to have been, but, we've literally watched a program grow up from nothing but a seedling, going back to Bill Curry and that's, that staff, and going back to 2009, the ramping up in 2010, the first season. And for you and I to sit here on a Saturday morning and talk about, Georgia State football players getting an opportunity at the next level in the National Football League. We've had players, including Nick Arbuckle, winning a Grey Cup with the Toronto Argonauts last year. The number of players that have been in the NFL, from Christo Bilukidi to Albert Wilson to Chandon Sullivan to, again, Will Lutz, the guys that are there. I know there's a few that I'm not mentioning, but it's really kind of amazing to sit back and
it is.
Those of us like you and me that have watched it from the very, very beginning, and then to be able to sit on your couch on a Sunday and watch these guys play in the NFL, it's nothing short of amazing.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about that. For us, for example, watching Dan Jackson, who played ball at North Hall, now you get a chance to play for the Detroit Lions. It's really something special from that standpoint. And I tell everybody, too, it's something when you get a player that played at Georgia who wants to transfer to Georgia State, and you had their running back Robinson, and you got to credit Coach McGee, who was at Georgia, to say, okay, hey, this guy wants to be a Panther.
Yeah, to be honest, I say this tongue-in-cheek. I'm surprised it's taken this long for a Bulldog or two to follow Coach McGee from Athens to Atlanta, down the Athens Highway into town. But, from what I understand, and I've not met, Branson as of yet, he could have been more of an impact player at Georgia if not for the injuries.
Yep.
So obviously the big key here is to be able to keep him on the field, get him acclimated to Coach McGee's system again here at Georgia State, keep him healthy, and, see what he can do. They added to the running back room not only with him, but they brought in a kid named Jordan Simmons from Ole Miss, as well as one other kid. I forget where he came from. There's so much going on in that transfer portal. It's closed now, but there's some of the news and info on who's transferred where is still filtering out. Yet you tend to follow a lot of it on social media, on some of those Twitter handles that follow the transfer portal. But it looks like that Coach McGee has really, again, if these guys can come in, we'll see who is an impact player. But if they can come in Branson's situation, can stay healthy, definitely the running game could be, a big boom this year for Georgia State. And, of course, that depends, too. And I couldn't name one as of yet because every position is open with so many new faces again on the roster, what that offensive line will look like, for Georgia State this year. They got a brand-new offensive line coach who came from, interestingly enough, the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. So there's a lot of new, and I put new in quotation marks again around Georgia State football. It's going to take a little while for everybody to get acclimated with one another, to be able to play with one another, get that chemistry flowing. But that's just the new world that we live in. We saw it with Georgia State basketball. We'll see it again this coming season. Not so much in baseball, even though the transfer portal did hit Georgia State, as it did a number of other programs. But for football, the guys that they have brought in, we will see who which one turn out to be impact players that can hopefully improve this Georgia State football team from the 3-9 season last year in Coach McGee's first run.
One thing that will remain the same is 97.5 Glory FM will be your home for Georgia State football and baseball this afternoon. 12 o'clock noon, first pitch, Louisiana and Georgia State. Dave has the play-by-play here on your home team for North Georgia Sports. Dave, drive carefully, sir. We'll talk to you later, okay?
All right, Mike, thank you.
Thanks much. That is Dave Cohen. He is the man. He is the voice of Georgia State sports, and we'll have his play-by-play today at 12 o'clock noon with Brad Schramdo's Panthers taking on Louisiana, only here on 97.5 Glory FM. We'll have more of the Saturday Morning Sports. We'll wrap things up for you coming up next.
Temperatures are warming up, and it's time to give your lawn some much-needed attention. Hi, I'm Jennifer with King Green. And with our comprehensive approach to ensuring that your lawn is healthy and thriving, be sure to include our aeration services. Not only does aeration improve overall quality and color in your lawn, it reduces soil compaction, increases root density, and creates a lawn and landscape that you can be proud of. Visit us online at kinggreen.com.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
And wrapping things up this morning on the Saturday Morning Sports Show at 97.5 Glory FM. The last 3 minutes of the show recapping what happened in high school sports this past week. North Hall and Cherokee Bluff advancing to the state quarterfinal round. North Hall won both games against Heritage of Catoosa back on Thursday. Cherokee Bluff won both of their games against Northwest Whitfield walk-off fashion in the bottom half of the 7th inning back on Thursday night to advance to the quarterfinal round of the state playoffs coming up this Wednesday. They'll play a best-of-3 playoff series, and you'll hear every pitch of every inning of every game of the series between North Hall and Cherokee Bluff only here on 97.5 Glory FM. Online at WGTJRadio.com. We're streaming on the TuneIn Radio app, Simple Radio app, and the Radio Garden app. At home on your Amazon Echo, you can say play 97.5 Glory FM, or better yet, to avoid any of the TuneIn Radio apps. There are different commercials. Say enable the skill 97.5 Glory FM, and we'll have all the play-by-play for you. We'll start things off with the expanded pregame show. Just after 4:30, you'll hear interviews with Coach Trevor Flo and Coach Jeremy Kemp, previewing the game and getting ready for the first pitch of the big game coming up. First pitch of a doubleheader, playing at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, if necessary, back on Thursday with a third deciding game. The winner will go up against the winner of the Peach County series. And if either one of these teams, if they win and Peach County wins, we go on the road next Tuesday, a week from Tuesday on the 13th for the semifinals of the state playoffs, with the winner to play for the state championship in just over 2 weeks from now. Also, in the other series, it will be the Jefferson Dragons. They'll be in action against the Troup County Tigers, and the winner of that series will go up against the winner of the number one team in the state, the Harlem Bulldogs, and their opponent going into the state semifinals a week from Tuesday. You'll hear all the action right here on 97.5 Glory FM. College baseball today, along with our game, North Georgia trying to stay alive in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. Coach Tom Cantrell's team is up against the wall now after losing last night, upset by Augusta 4-0. They have to win now because it's a double elimination tournament. 13th ranked team should be getting a bid into the upcoming NCAA Division II playoffs, but they have to win today to go on to the next round. And also it will be the softball team. Weather has really pushed things back with their postseason there with the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. Again, we'll have Georgia State baseball today at 12 o'clock noon here on 97.5 Glory FM. Then on Wednesday, it's high school baseball with Cherokee Bluff and North Hall here on your home team for North Georgia Sports. That's a Saturday morning sports show.
97.5.